You are listening to Ministry Minded, a podcast of Step Up to Life, where we discuss the gospel, theology, and how to navigate the highs and lows of Christian ministry. Living out the Christian faith is a complex thing to navigate, so we're here to help you think through it as you progress on your journey. Vaughn Perez, welcome to Ministry Minded.
Thanks, guys. I'm excited. Thanks for having me.
You are youth pastor at CityLight Bennington here in Omaha. Mm-hmm. You are coach, substitute teacher, married. I mean, there's a lot going on. You're also a podcaster.
Yeah.
So we're glad to have you here. I want to jump in with you, hear your backstory today. And of course, we've partnered with you with Step Up to Life. So welcome.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
So,
my first memory of you.
Yeah. What is it, Lincoln? I don't know if I know.
It was, let's just say you were part of a very loud group.
Oh, yes. There we go.
So for those of you that don't know, when now we're at the Oakview Mall area here for our offices, but we were in Elkhorn and we had a lot of extra room in our office building.
Yeah.
And so the short story is, I'm getting ready to go for a bike ride on a Saturday morning, and I'm at the Cubbies in Bennington.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm meeting my buddies there. We're going to ride from there. And I go inside to get a cup of coffee or something, and here's this guy sitting with earphones on. It was Roy. Hello. And I'm like, what are you doing here? He goes, I'm preparing my sermon for tomorrow. I'm like, in Cubbies? I mean, people are coming in and out, donuts and gas and just... I said, why don't you go to our office? Well, little did I know that a few months later, all 8 of you would be in our office, which was fine. We were glad. We were so glad to share it. But y'all, every now and then, we'd have to come around the corner and go, hey, guys, could you bring that down a little bit? And it wasn't you. It was Roy. His laugh is so loud.
It is.
Roy, we love you, brother.
Yes.
But great time to get to know you guys, sharing the office together.
Yeah, that was fun. Thank you for letting us do that.
Oh, absolutely. No, we were glad to have you here. Brought a lot of life to us old timers.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think that's the first memory I have is when just spending time there.
Yeah, that was fun.
So
awesome.
Yeah.
Okay,
cool.
Well, we're going to go down memory lane here now with you. You're going to kind of, obviously you don't share what you don't want to, but take us back. How did you grow up? What's your background? How did, obviously you didn't pop out of the womb knowing Christ, so we want to hear about that too, but take us back to kind of your family of origin and how that all kind of unfolded for you.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited for this one because, I've known you for a few years, Link, and then Nick too as well, but I don't think, I had a coffee with you a few months or last year. And then Link, I don't think you know all my story. Maybe you've listened to when I preached for a little bit, but
I haven't heard it.
Yeah, I was born and raised here. I actually grew up Catholic, and a lot of looking back at my testimony, guys, it's a lot of it was morality. I thought, I thought there's parameters set by God of like, okay, I don't do this, I do this. Like this is okay, this is not okay. I was always a pretty good kid. Kind of shy, believe it or not. Growing up, not until like later in high school and college, where I'm like, okay, I'm not shy. Like I love people, I love talking to people, but I don't know. I think that like when I look back, a lot of it was just morality. Like, okay, do the right thing, don't get in trouble, be a good person, right? "Quote unquote," good person,
right.
And you guys heard that so many times. And then I went to Creighton Prep for high school, which I loved. I didn't want to go there. But I really grew my ethics and my I really apprecited my values and the things I were taught. I'm definitely thankful for that. Went to college with my best friends. We roomed together freshman year, and then that's when I started partying, kind of getting into that scene, right?
Okay. Where did you go?
UNO, Omaha.
Okay.
Yeah, Mavericks.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, go Mavs.
Go Mavs. Yep. So I did entrepreneurship and marketing was my degree there.
Great.
So I love the college lifestyle. Sad to say this, but I had I think it was like a 1.8 GPA my second semester because I was so into just like partying and not caring. Like I didn't care about it like much, I just wanted to have a good time.
Do they have any standards? Like if you go below a 1, you get kicked out or anything?
I don't know. I passed it, so I didn't get kicked out. All right, praise God. But that's just went to show like that was really hard. That was my second semester, my freshman year, so that was 2014 spring. So then you know what? I just kind of grew distance distant from my best friends that I lived with at the dorms, and great guys. I reconciled. There was nothing that was really bad. I just like knew that I was like, okay, I should probably branch out and try and meet other people and stuff like that. Like restart almost, refresh. And so lived with random people the next year. And then actually that's when I got plugged into CityLight's first college ministry, CityLight U.
Okay.
And
now was the CityLight Church at the UNO campus?
It was at the there was a church on like just east of where they're at now, the Midtown campus.
Okay.
Yeah, so
but they met at UNO's whatever that building is on the far west end.
Ooh.
CityLight Providence, I think.
No, before that. It was even before that.
Okay.
Yeah, it was even before that. Providence was the next the church that planted from there a few years later. But I think CityLight Omaha, the church itself, Gavin and Chris started in 2012, I remember correctly, February 2012. And then the next spring, so 2013, they started their college ministry.
Okay.
And so then the year after is when that spring was actually I went because Prince McAmara was speaking, and I was a Giants fan at the time. I'm not anymore. I was a what is it called, bandwagon, because they won a few years before. Right. But I wanted to see him speak, so I was looking into that fall is when I got plugged into CityLight U, because that's when they kind of officially kicked off and stuff. And I went, and I told you this, Nick, beforehand, but I went because there was a cute girl. I was like, oh,
hey, of course.
Like, she's really cool. Got a date with her, so that's cool.
Yeah.
But then, obviously nothing went past that. But then this was actually the time where I was like, okay, I was really challenged in my theology or what I didn't know, right? Like, I was taught at Mass, and I went to religious CCD at the time, Wednesday night religious education for Catholic school. But I was there to mess around. I was just there because my parents told me to go, and it's kind of part of the tradition, right, of Catholic Church.
Yeah.
So I didn't really remember much, right? And so my theology back then, from what I remember, is that it was God and Jesus. Not really much of the Holy Spirit, right? Like, it was just like, okay, God's the guy up here in the sky, the big man, right? And then Jesus is the guy who died on the cross, right? It was a lot of very, very, very minimal head knowledge, Sure. So then when CityLight U, when I got plugged in my sophomore year of college, there was a guy named Andrew McGill. So shout out to him. I don't know if he'll listen, but I'll send it to him. He like challenged me. He took me under his wing, and I didn't know he was like discipling me. I had no idea, like I'm not a believer at the time.
It was incognito.
Yeah, he was like, I was like, this guy's awesome. He's 5 years older than me.
Yeah.
And then there's some other guys that I met at the college ministry. We're doing a small group, and he's asking like theological questions, like, hey, do you believe God loves everybody? Like, stuff like that. That was very apologetic, like, and I loved it because it was like, oh, I don't know, and he would like correct me, and he would share the gospel, like explain every single step. I would repeat it, and then he'd tell me to re-explain, and I was like, oh, I don't know. Like, he told me that years later, and I don't remember that stuff, right? And so he was like discipling me without me even knowing it, the sophomore year of college, and then this is actually the year that I actually struggled with pornography. Actually, yeah, that's when so a little later than my friends was kind of God's provision there, but. So then that whole year I was going to Tuesday nights at the college ministry, still going to Mass on Sunday nights or Sunday mornings with my family or wherever. Kind of partying, like not really. Like I had kind of two friends, my friends who were my freshman group friends, and then this new group of like guys and girls who were believers, right? And that kind of attracted me because I was like, it's like a safe way to have fun, but they're having fun. You know what I mean? And so. Then junior year hit, and second semester junior year, one of my buddies from the college ministry was like, hey, what do you believe about Mary? Because he used to be Catholic, and he's now Protestant.
Okay.
But he's like, what do you believe about Mary? Like, and that really, really challenged me from a theological standpoint at that time when I was a junior in college, and I was like, oh, I don't know. I think she's good. And that's just off of the repetition and all the things I've been taught growing up, right? And he's like, well, Jesus, is the way, the truth, and life. Like, and he was just talking all about Jesus as like Jesus. And he said, like, what do you think about that? And I was like, And that actually turned me off against the whole thing, against God and Christianity. I was like, oh, I don't want to think about this. I don't like that you're challenging me in this aspect. I believe what I believe, which is kind of funny because, just stubborn, right? And so then actually that turned me off. I stopped going to the college ministry my second semester and senior year. Second semester, junior year, and senior year of college, and started just partying more now. So then I went back to my secular friends, I guess, for lack of a better term. And that's when I was really just having fun, enjoying, lived in a house with people that we just party every single night. Stopped going to the college ministry. Still kind of there's a few people that I still kind of hung out with still that still loved me. And one of my best friends, shout out to Tommy, he loved me every single season of my life that he knew me. And I remember even the season where I was it was deep and I was dark and partying, he still loved hanging out with me, and I loved hanging out with him. He showed me just steadfast love of Christ, and he never was really punch you with the gospel. He was just someone who was just very steady and just was such a good friend, right? Sure. And so him and my other buddy Joe and Christian, those are the three guys who just they loved me even though I was deep in the woods, right?
Yeah.
And so then 2017, I'll forward to 2017 of summer. That's when I really felt the darkest weight and just oh gosh, I'm not talking to the Lord. Even my simple disciplines of praying before bed, praying before meals, all those things I was taught even growing up. I was well, I'm not even doing those things. I'm not going to church anymore. I'm not going into college ministry. And so I got to a point in my life in August of 2017, August was when I was really feeling it. I was oh, there's a void there. I'm really feeling the heaviness. I'm feeling I'm doing everything on my own. And I was really idolizing my body. I was working out a lot. And it was mainly to get girls, right? To look good. So you gotta get girls, right? And it's not good. And I was connecting with people and helping people because I wanted something in return. I wanted to connect with people to get a good job, or I wanted to do something with the expectation that you'd help me with something else, right?
Okay.
I'm very selfish, very empty. And then so that same buddy Tommy, him and I went down to Lincoln August of 2017. We helped a friend move. And he drove, and we spent the night at our buddies that we helped move. And then that night, he's like, "Hey, you want to go to church the next day?" Because CityLight Lincoln already had planted. And I was man, I wasn't mad at him, but I was like, "Oh, you drove, so I can't do anything about it."
Stuck.
Yeah, I can't do anything about it. And so, but guys, I remember sitting in the parking lot that Sunday morning, and I talked to God. I was like, "God, I haven't talked to you. I haven't acknowledged you. I'm sorry. Would you open my eyes and my heart?" That's what I remember at the parking lot, sitting before going into CityLight Lincoln. And the pastor at the time was Mo Dixon, I think. Oh, sorry, Mo Dixon. I don't remember anything he said, but I did remember an analogy. He's an analogy of a house, and he used a house as analogy of your soul, of who you are. He said, "What does the house look like? What does your house look like? Is it clean? Is it nice?" And I remember thinking, sitting there, I was yeah, I don't get into any trouble. I'm a good person. Yeah, I follow the rules, I'm good. Everything's great. But then he said, "What does the inside look like? Are the rooms messy? Are they dirty? Are they filthy? Do they need cleaning? Because if they do, Jesus is at the front door knocking." And I remember at that moment is when the Holy Spirit entered into my soul, in my body, and I was like, "God, I'm sorry. Everything I'm doing is not for your glory. It's all for me, and I'm doing everything with the wrong mindset." And that's when I gave my life to Jesus. That was August of 2017.
There at
CityLight Lincoln. Yeah.
Now, just to back up 50 years,
yeah.
Maybe you don't know this.
Yeah.
But I sat in that very church in the second row from second grade to sixth grade because it was a Christian Missionary Alliance church that my dad pastored for 4 years.
Wait, what? Really?
That building. I didn't know that. Very building.
Right there, the one on O Street?
Yep.
Whoa. What was that? What's the name? What was the name?
It was Central Alliance. I think
okay.
Lincoln, Nebraska. Yeah.
Wow. No way.
I was in second grade,
Crazy.
and then we moved to Lincoln. It moved here when I was in sixth grade. But I have many elementary school memories of that church and doing things I shouldn't have done. And, getting in trouble.
That's crazy. So, that's wild.
So when I found out that CityLight was there, I forget who, maybe I was talking to Roy and Glenn or whatever.
Sure,
but you don't believe this, but this is full circle, man. My dad pastored in that building.
That's small world. Yeah, that's crazy. So it was at church. There's some anointing on that ground for some reason, you know. And so that's when I gave my life August of 2017, and then I got replugged into the college ministry, replugged into actually going to Bible studies. Stopped going to I still went to mass with my parents because they were still heavily involved in the Catholic Church at the time. Just wanted to honor them and stuff. But I remember still really okay, I was on fire for the Lord. Like I don't know. I just love that He saved me. You know, just as simple as that is, right? Just
pretty like profound.
Yeah, very profound. Very simple and so complex at the same time. And it's like, wow. Yeah. Jesus is who I should give all the glory and all the credit to. And God is the one who created me. And the Holy Spirit now leads me and guides me, protects me. And so, and then even then, so then shortly after that, I started dating a girl at the college ministry, and she was a little bit younger than me. She was a freshman, and I was a senior. But that actually helped me, you know, with my walk with the Lord, right? Of just okay, what are habits and disciplines and then I had someone from the church disciple me too as well, officially, right? Walk me through, you know, how do I read scripture?
Okay.
How do I pray? You know, all those stuff. And so that was that. And then, and even just the addiction to pornography, right? That just broke, the chains broke. And that, cause there was a season where it was man, every single day, every other day, you know, it was just that temptation and just, you know, and I remember after I gave my life to the Lord, I was oh my gosh, this is crazy. You know, the enemy's still, it's not it's perfect, right? But it's wow, I did feel the chains break and oh my gosh, I'm lifted from this sin, you know, the weight of this sin. It's crazy. Wow. But and then I don't know. I guess that's kind of the salvation story. There's obviously stuff leading into what I do now and stuff. So I don't know if you guys want me to start there or kind of lead into that. But
so I'm kind of curious. So so at that time then you're in this college ministry.
Yeah.
You're in that through your senior year.
Yep.
Before you actually go into ministry, you're just kind of a part of it. You're experiencing it.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Did my first mission trip. So that 2018, summer of 2018, I went to Guatemala. That was really fun. That was memorable.
Okay.
And then I guess professionally, so I graduated that same semester, December 2017, and graduated then. From my undergrad. Worked a couple just part-time jobs, 2 at once. Was trying to I actually wanted to get my GMAT so I can go to take my MBA. That actually, I failed that, which actually that's actually part of my testimony too, because I was so ready to, you know, take my master's classes. Didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. I thought it was the next step, and then I failed it. Not by I was close, but I was so devastated by that event, and I was oh my gosh, God, what do I do now? I was really prepping for this, and I thought this is what you had me do. I've been studying for months, failed it. What do I do? And so, you know, worked a couple of part-time jobs. 2019 January, I worked at a tech startup company. I got hired. It was my dream job, actually, going out of college, because in college I ran the Collegiate Entrepreneurs Organization. CEO is what we call it.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was a club of 100 people, give or take, and it was super fun. So I brought in people who were startups, people who were founders of small businesses and startups around the metro. And so Flywheel was one of our first sponsors, and just because of culture and the people who own it and run it, I was man, I want to do this someday. I don't care what I do, but I want to be around people who are like-minded and are I don't know, just very, very hardworking, but also have a good balance of fun and work, right? And so that's why I really wanted to work there. And so 2019, I got hired there. So I was very thankful, very, very grateful for that. A year and a half later, so I did sales, got promoted to account manager. And then May of 2020, so COVID was in full swing. And I don't know, I just felt like wanting to do something different, wanting to do something more, I hate to say fulfilling, but I think you guys would understand if I said that, right? We were all isolated. We were all working from home. The culture of like being around the people, because it was such a great atmosphere being in the office, and like just the things that they had, like the small perks and stuff, and the people that worked there, it was an amazing culture. But then I just felt empty in terms of the work. It's in it of itself, right? And so maybe 2020, I was like, I don't know what I should do. And I got connected with Roy the year prior. He discipled me for a couple months, just a small season of my life. And so he always checked in with me once a month or once every other month. May of 2020, Chris Haruska actually had he posted something on his social media, hey, CityLight has a residency open. And I was like, oh, that would be cool. So I messaged him back and I was like, hey, can I do this? And he said, yeah, let's chat. And then he ghosted me. He never texted me back or anything. And I was like, what? So are we gonna talk? And so then I told Roy about this. And long story short, he's in the middle of finding a team, him and Glenn, for CityLight Bennington. And he asked me these questions like, where are you at? Like, why do you want to do something different? Like, have you considered like ministry? And I was like, oh yeah. And so I guess backstory to that, I almost did college ministry a little bit after I got saved. And then I also served in the student ministry at Midtown for a couple of years. And so I had some experience helping with students and stuff like that. And so I prayed about it, and long story short, I said yes to joining the team for CityLight Bennington. And so that's kind of the story of how I got plugged in. So that was 2020 of July is when I started.
Wow, so you've been there 5 years?
5 years now.
That's hard to believe. It seems like I still see you as the new youth guy.
I know, yeah. I know. I'm getting. Yeah, actually, that's funny that you say that, Lincoln, because now I'm like at these youth like leader network stuff. I'm like, oh wow, there's getting people who are like newer and stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like Brad Mock over us.
Right.
But that's kind of how I got into my role now and stuff. And so, just to kind of catch us a little bit more up to speed.
Yeah. And when did the pretty blonde girl catch your eye?
Yeah. So Megan, my wife, I joined staff July 1st. She joined staff July 27th of 2020. So same year, same month. She was the last one to round out our team because they needed an admin and a finance. And I remember sitting in the car with Roy and Glenn. We were going to Jimmy John's. Glenn had just got off the phone with someone from CCC recommending Megan to be the admin and finance director at CLB. And so I'm overhearing that. I'm in the back seat. Glenn's telling Roy, and Glenn and Roy, I think Glenn told Roy that Meg had a boyfriend at the time. And so then Roy immediately was like, sorry, Vaughn, she's dating,
I can hear him say that.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, and so I'm very thankful he said that though, because then I knew mentally that okay, whenever I meet her, I'm not going to try and be slick or anything.
Sure.
Because,
I impress her.
Yeah, exactly. So, because I don't know, every time I would see someone that was attractive, I would try to talk to them, to get to know them, right? And so that was great, because then I was like, okay, mentally, I'm like, okay, this girl has a boyfriend, so I'm just gonna keep pursuing you, Lord, which is so funny because that's what I should have been doing, but but so then we met in July of 2020. So her boyfriend was not a believer, really bad relationship. That girl that I told you I was dating from college ministry, we broke up 2020, April of 2020. So here's April of 2020, July 2020, me and Megan met. August of 2020, she breaks up with him. And so both her and I have just gotten out of 3-year relationships, which is funny because we found out that they both have the same birthday. Our exes have the same birthday, which is fun.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's so funny. So they broke up August because she felt the Holy Spirit's prompting to break up with him, and she's felt that she got saved the year before, and she has her own story to tell. But Yeah, so she took the step of faith to actually break up with him, and then that happened. And then shortly after, it's really fast, but 2 weeks later, her and I and a coworker met up at Stories, actually, right here in town. And that other coworker couldn't make it, so it was just me and her. And so we're working on like planning center stuff, and then we were just chatting, and then we were just like we were relating about our past relationships. We were really connecting and asking each other questions, and we're like, then that turned to kept meeting and having work meetings, work meetings over at Stories. So that Stories was very special to us because we always met and we kept talking, and then we officially became a couple in October, and then I proposed in January, and then we got married in May. So July of 2020 to May of 21, from the time we met to the time we got married. So 10 months was a timeline.
So I think I observed this from a distance because I think you guys were in our office. Mm-hmm. When you first came into our office, you guys were not a deal yet or anything serious.
No.
So then the next thing I know, it's like, oh, yeah, they're hanging out. The next thing I know, they're engaged. And that all happened under our roof.
I was going to say, in passing, you probably have heard us laugh and stuff. Yeah, Rowan Glenn teased us about it because everyone on staff now is like, they don't know the story because they weren't there,
Right.
Because all our original team came to our weddings, and we have a picture of all of us, our whole team together. It was really fun. But so that's kind of that story. And so Megan's still working at the church, still holding the anchor down, keeping us out of jail. She does a good job. She's very smart, handles the numbers, handles everything else that needs to be cleaned up with, and so she's excellent. So that's the story of my wife and I and how we met and stuff. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, I'm curious, talk a little bit about this too. So we ran into your extended family at LifeGate several weeks back when they had a big 50-year celebration talking about his dad, Elmer, and how he was their first pastor and all of this. And, we're just eating lunch afterwards. And then all of a sudden, we find out that they're connected to you.
Yeah.
Sitting at the same table.
Connection with Cebu, Philippines, which we're planning to go to next March. To train up our leaders over there. Yeah. So tell us about that connection. You said you've been there before, but you weren't born there. You're born in the U.S.
Yes.
So how did your family come from the Philippines to the U.S. and what's that all?
My dad's a physical therapist. I don't know. He might have told you guys. I don't know what he told you, but him and my mom got married in 93. My dad got a job offer here in Omaha. Right after he graduated. So in 94 he moved here.
Okay.
Which is so funny because they don't have football in the Philippines, and that's when the Huskers were dominating. And so he's learning.
94,
95, 97, 96. Yep, exactly. And so he was actually,
the Tommy Frazier days.
Yes, exactly. So it's fun. But I'll get to that here in a second. But so he got a job here in Omaha, which hearing it now and every time I'm saying it out loud, it's really random, right?
Yeah.
From Cebu, Philippines to Omaha, Nebraska.
Yeah, in the middle of the middle of the middle.
Yeah, right in the middle. It's like, because typically it's West Coast, East Coast, Texas, right?
Or if you come to the Midwest, you go like Chicago, something like that.
Exactly, yeah. And so he came here in 94. My mom followed her a few months later. I don't know if it was paperwork or whatever, but she came a little bit later. I was born 95, and then my sis was born 96. So if you can imagine, you're graduating from a different country, you're getting married, move to a whole different country, and then boom, back to back, 2 years, you have kids. Me and my sister are only 10 months apart too. And so it was like twins. We're Irish twins. Yeah. And so, so that's been really, I don't know, I'm very thankful because every time I go back, every time I've been back, I'm always so humbled. My dad's family's really poor. His parents are now passed, but like when we went in 2010, I think, his family doesn't have running water. The toilets don't flush. Wow. I remember sleeping on tile in the living room, 100-degree weather, with just like a standard circular fan, like circulating, right? And gosh, that was so eye-opening. I remember like, the public restrooms, some of them like in the really rural parts don't have, it's basically all outhouses, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't know. That's just really humbling, and it makes me more grateful being here.
Sure.
Because we are the only ones in our family that are here. Mm-hmm. We now have extended family, like my second cousins are in New York, but for a long time it was just me and my sister here.
Okay.
And so, and my dad, and you guys have talked to him, but he doesn't seem like he was born there because he doesn't have much of an accent. He's got really a Midwestern accent.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, my mom's she has more of an accent and stuff, but I don't know. I'm just very grateful. So that's what he does. My mom, growing up, she worked at Walmart. And so she worked night shifts from like 6 to like 1 or, you know. Okay. And so I think they had a really good rhythm established. So we would, my dad would work. When we come home from school, my mom would, they would flip flop. My dad would watch us at night, and then my mom would, go to work. And then Wednesdays and Saturdays, we always had family nights, which was really always fun. We always had either one of those nights we did a dinner out or a movie in, so it just depended. And so it was a really good rhythm, yeah. And I'm very grateful for it. My dad and my mom, and I wrote this in his card for Father's Day, but like just the way that he loved my mom, and it's Ephesians 5, right, of just like loving and respecting each other. And my mom really respects him, and I see that, and I see the way that my dad cherishes my mom, And so a lot of how it was like caught, not taught, right? Like just what I saw at home and what I saw, like they didn't fight a lot, if ever. So I'm really thankful for just like my upbringing and just like being here, being in, and I try and weave this in my messages, my sermons to my students of like, be like, every Thanksgiving I do a Thanksgiving message, right? Of just like, man, be grateful for every single thing you see right now, right? Like even the clothes that you're able to pick, the selection you had, the cars you drive, the friends that you're around, I think it really simplifies everything. Just like me knowing to where I could have been to where I am now in terms of like, I could have been born thousands of miles away. I could have a different accent. I could not even I probably wouldn't be married to my wife. My life would be so different. Yeah. And so, I don't know. It just puts things into perspective. And I'm really grateful.
For sure.
For it. Yeah. So, yeah.
So they had a Catholic background from the Philippines.
Yeah.
Now, how's that transitioned here? Have they kind of come more into like you have into your journey? Have they transitioned out of that or?
Yeah, I think so. Okay. I think my dad, I know last year or 2 years ago, Roy Glenn did an altar call, and he gave his life to the Lord then. The closed eyes, hands raised. And I had a conversation with him. We went golfing shortly after, and it was a true altar call, right? And so I don't know. I don't know in terms of like the Catholic part of it, because I know like whenever they can't go to our church or Lifegate, they always try to go either one of those. They'll hit up the Catholic church near their house, and so I can't really put a pin in terms of like, okay, are they not, or are they? And I don't want to also like put all my brain power into trying to figure that out, right? Like because at the end of the day, I've learned that like in my own studying and in my own conversations that like, I firmly believe that there are Catholics that do love the Lord and actually can be more Protestant. They just don't realize it. And then vice versa. There's a lot of, people who go to Protestant churches that actually don't get it, right? Like, and so I'm at the point where like, I'm just going to love them. And they actually they were there when I got baptized. They were there. I mean, we always have conversations about faith and stuff whenever we're all together and stuff. And I don't know. I'm really like grateful for just their support, and I think the Lord's using my wife and I to like, and also my auntie and uncle that you guys met and stuff like, to really, I don't know how the best way to say it, but that's.
Sometimes labels are helpful and sometimes they're not.
Right.
It's just like, do these people love the Lord?
Right.
And are they following Jesus?
Right.
And if those are both yeses, then I'm good.
Right.
I'm good with that. Now we can talk about like where you go to church or labels or stuff like that. But where's the heart? That's the main thing. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
So your main ministry, though, that God has really opened to you is with youth. But it's not just in one area. I mean, yes, you're the youth pastor, which obviously that's a huge part of what you're doing. But you've got layers to that. So tell us about that. You're youth minister. You work with college and high school, and I'm assuming middle school even.
Yep.
But then also you're with Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and you're coaching, and you're subbing. So you're kind of busy.
Very busy. It's fun though. I oversee both middle school and high school, and I love it. We have a great group of kids at our church, and then you know what? Like when I joined CLB, when our church planted, like from what I heard, okay, Bennington's a place where churches kind of die. Church, like it's really dry. And over the last few years, I've seen God's hand in His favor in that area. And it's not just our church; there's other ministries that are part of it. And I think the superintendent has to do with it too as well. Just like things like that, I've seen God's hand move, but. I don't know. When I became the youth pastor, I was like, okay, be with students. That's the main goal. Share Jesus to them. Like, okay, easy enough. Now, how do you go about that, right? There's so many different avenues and ways, right? And I've always had a heart to coach. I always wanted to coach. I didn't know if I'd be good. I don't know how I would have been able to do that at the time. So then a couple years later, so 2022. I met up with the basketball coach at the high school because he actually was on a call with I think he was on our Zoom prayer times when we started.
Is this Luke
Olson? Coach Olson. Yeah.
He hosts the FCA meetings.
He does.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Bennington.
He does. Yeah. So when our church planted, he shared with me that he was him and his wife were on like helping just pray for the church and stuff like that. And which I didn't know. Roy and Glenn didn't share that because obviously I didn't know him at the time. So I don't know how I got his number and stuff, but I remember connecting with him, getting lunch. I was like, I want to I don't know. I just for me, it's like kill two birds with one stone. Like I want to try scratch my itch of coaching, and then also a way to still get connected and get plugged in with students. I was like, that makes sense. And so
perfect.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. So I met up with him. He said there was nothing open. I was like, oh, dang it. and then he said there was a club position open. Like Bennington has a club, a club program, basketball program. So he got me connected with the guy who runs it. And then, so I was going to do that. And then last minute, someone at the principal at the middle school texted me because Coach Olson gave him my number and said, hey, we have a position open for middle school basketball. I was like, okay, whatever gets me in the door, I'll try it. So I did that 2022, then 2023, and then I added football on there because they needed a football coach too.
Okay.
So I did that, and then this past year, 2024, I was doing my normal football, 8th grade football, 7th grade basketball. Then near the end of 7th grade basketball, Coach Olson calls me, and he's like, we have a position for a freshman coach. I was like, oh, really? I'll do that. Like, I'd love to do that. And so it wasn't an easy yes because of my wife. I had to get her permission. But for me, it was easy yes.
Was that football or basketball?
Basketball.
Okay.
Basketball. Yeah, high school basketball. Yeah. I was like, oh, this would be awesome. I don't know the time commitment. And I loved middle school because it was like I got home at 5:30, 6 at the latest for practice and games to get home 7:30. I was like, okay. So I told
this is the 9th graders.
Yeah, 9th graders. Yep. 9th
graders.
Yeah. So then I was like, okay, do I do this? I was like, Lord, do I do this? I don't. So I was like, I'm gonna ask my wife because she'll help me decide. And she was like, okay, is it paid? I'm like, I don't think so. So let me double check.
Really?
It was a volunteer. No, it's a volunteer position. Okay. Because of Title IX, they can't pay. That position gets cut off.
All right.
All the other coaches get paid. Which kind of stinks, but I think he's trying to help make a case for that. But anyways, I said yes because I was like, let's just try it. Let's see how it is. Mm-hmm. And I loved it, guys. I love coaching it. I'm not doing middle school basketball anymore because I'm like high school because after ninth grade season got done, I hopped into the varsity stuff and just like helped out with practices and were there at games, just getting exposed to that. And I was like, okay, I really want to do this more. And so, now, I said yes and I'm doing it again this year, and we're already in the heat of summer stuff. So,
you would have loved to have me on your team.
If I
was a ninth grader and you were my coach.
Yeah.
Because at Beveridge Junior High, which used to be 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. And Burke was 10, 11, 12. My 9th grade year, I started the very first game. I was a starter in 9th grade. And my total season scoring, so divide this by 10 games, was 1. 1. Wow. But it was the most beautiful free throw you've ever seen.
There we go.
You should have seen that thing. It was classic, beautiful. 1 point the entire season.
Wow.
I started the first game and rode the bench the entire rest.
No.
I was petrified.
Yeah.
Anyway. There.
Oh, dang.
So actually, you wouldn't have wanted me on the team.
Yeah.
I would have contributed 1 point the entire
year. So that's been good in the sense that, like, what's funny is that this past 9th grade class that I just coached, that was actually my first 7th grade class that I coached.
Oh, cool.
So so that kind of gave me a push into, okay, I know half of these guys, so that's an easy way. And so I don't know. The thing I love about coaching guys, to tie it into ministry, it's like I'm not directly preaching about the gospel, right? But I'm showing what the gospel looks like,
right,
in their actions and what how they. If they get too, like, I always, like, we just had a summer league game last week or a tournament, and I told them, I was like, guys, like, don't get too high on yourself and don't get too low on yourself. Like, be steady and be steadfast, right? And using verbiage that's biblical that they don't know, right?
Yeah, sure.
But then it's good, like, teaching and good principles for them, and that's what I love about, like, coaching, like, being able to be an evangelist in just like in the district, in the system, right? Like, because I was talking to someone the other day, I love coaching because you teach them things that God has already taught them. They haven't put it into words, right? And so, it's so fun, and just like being around and like being someone that they can trust, being a big brother, a mentor, right? And that kind of ties into the kids at FCA. And I did do Campus Life too when I first joined Bennington, CLB. They had a Campus Life Bennington. And so some of the kids I know. And so just like whatever avenue puts me around kids where they can trust me, or I can like teach them directly or indirectly, is kind of what I love,
Sure. Sure.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. No, I mean, the impact we make is probably bigger than we're ever going to be told by the student. I did youth ministry, and so did you for many years. And it's funny, sometimes, even now, I'll have someone send me a message saying, hey, they're like married and have kids and everything else. Yeah. And they're like, hey, I just remember this thing. And you're going, what in the world? I didn't even think you were paying attention.
Yes.
And God lets you, every once in a while, he lets you see behind the curtain of what he actually did.
Good. That's really good.
And I don't know, it's a privilege. It's such an impactful time of life.
Yeah.
They're asking questions, but they're not necessarily going to come out and tell you that.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's a really unique opportunity to make inroads in ways that, changes the course of many people's whole lives. So no, we're grateful, and I'm grateful. You impacted my daughter's life. She loves it when you sub.
Oh yeah, I love.
It's like Vaughn was in today.
I know. I was saying hi to her and seeing her. She's so sweet, and then just like all those kids are awesome. Yeah,
she's very appreciative.
Yeah,
so. I'm curious. Okay, so CityLight Bennington. If you're listening and you don't know, Vaughn is at CityLight Bennington.
Yeah.
With Pastor Glenn and Pastor Roy. So if you want to get online and look that up, you can see. But you guys have incorporated Step Up to Life in a fairly intentional manner there.
Yeah.
Talk about that a little bit. How have you felt that be an aid to you or a tool in your toolbox, if you will?
Sure.
Having that conversation with students.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, in terms of the students, I always I know that was the one time you came to FCA, which was really good and very helpful. Just going through the steps. In terms of my ministry, the student ministry at CLB, it's I I think there's only been a few times where I've kind of actually there was one time where I actually taught through it. And like, okay, hey, what step are you on? And like, this is between you and the Lord, but write down where you're at and really process through those things.
Sure.
In terms of like where I use it the most would be one-on-one discipleship. Times where like, okay, I've sensed maybe this kid just needs a refresher, or like maybe this kid doesn't even know where he's at. And I want to like I love Step Up to Life because it really, really paints a good and clear picture of where we're at in terms of our faith journey, right? Yeah, and so that's always like I love that it's ingrained now in my in my tool belt, in my memory, because then like when I'm having conversations, I could be aware of like, okay, when to pull it out, right? Of like, okay. And even like process when a kid's like feeling convicted, I'm like, okay, he's definitely on the convicted step. So then how do I like ask him more about that? And like, okay, have you thought about like repenting, giving your life to the Lord? Did you feel that heaviness on your heart? Like that's from the Holy Spirit, like, you know, and actually God wants you to take that next step. So I think it's been really helpful for me for sure, because just like having that in my tool belt, and like when I'm having conversations, okay, when to weave that in, you know? It's awesome.
I think too, like when you're telling your story earlier about how when God did bring conviction on you, at first you just left altogether. You just like walked away because you're like, ooh, I don't like this. I don't like how this feels. I think sometimes it can be encouraging as a leader to recognize, oh, wait, that's actually not necessarily a bad thing. The Holy Spirit was working. This person is currently not responding so well, but they're understanding something. So I think that can be helpful too, because then it's not like, what did I do wrong? It's like, okay, this person is just a little scared. A little tentative. Like, I remember when I came to faith in Christ in high school, this friend named Dave, and he goes, now you're not going to be one of those like people that makes your whole life about God, are you?
Oh, yeah. Interesting.
And I really had come to saving faith, and I laughed and I laughed. And he got really nervous, like, why are you laughing? I was serious, you know, and I'm like, if that's not what you want to do, you don't even know God.
Right.
And he's like,
well said.
What?
Yeah.
I just kept laughing and laughing. Because once you come to know him for real, it's like so obvious that you would never even think that way anymore, right? Like there's a part of your life that God doesn't touch. It's just laughable. But until you're in that, until God's really broke through, it does feel like there could be.
Totally.
Well, we can have this part of his regular life, and then this part is like the part God has. Like, no, that's not how it works.
That's not how it works. Exactly. Well, and it's also interesting, and I was telling you, Nick, about my podcast. I have a podcast with my buddy Clay Lincoln, and
Vaughn and Clay All Day.
Vaughn and Clay All Day. Yeah, so Vaughn and Clay All Day.
But check it out.
Yeah, we haven't had an episode in over a year, but that's okay. But like, and that was it's a podcast where we just ask him, how'd you come to know the Lord? Like, what's your story? And so I've heard so many different stories, obviously also with the students that I'm connected with, like all the different stories. And it's interesting because like, even the ones that are churched, right? They grew up in a church. Sometimes like, I really think that, and this is helpful to Step Up to Life, because then it really helps you pinpoint a time in your life where it's like, okay, I really turned from being convicted to repenting to saving faith, right? Because there's some kids, and God's given me a lot of patience with them, and it still does. But like, there's some kids that grew up in the church, so then they think they're Christian because mom and dad, and it's all just what they know. And ironically, that's similar to what I grew up in, just in the Catholic Church, right?
Right.
But it's like, no, I think God gets to a point in your life, or you get to a point in your life where you've got to make a decision of who God is. Yeah. And so even those stories, I'm like, okay, I'm just patient, because I'm like, there's going to be a time where trial's going to happen, and you're either going to turn to the world or to the Lord, right? Yeah. And like, even if it doesn't happen then, it's just another step closer, right? It's going to be, for sure. You know, and so it's really interesting. Like, even when kids are like, oh yeah, I'm a Christian because I grew up in church. I'm like, okay, then because of this, I'm like, okay, I know what questions to ask. Right. You know, like,
we have found that this is extremely helpful along the line of what you're saying. It's not just for the unchurched or people that don't know Jesus at all. Yeah. But there's so many in the church that they're moral. Yes. They think they're trying to be, they're trying to be good enough. They think they are. Yeah. But they're not quite sure maybe. Yeah. And I found it really helpful to kind of blow all the fog away.
Yeah.
Because they're like, well, I prayed this prayer in second grade at camp.
Yeah.
But I don't know, really where I am and what does all that mean? I say, well, let's just forget about all that for a minute.
Yeah.
Let's just forget about your religious history for a minute.
Yeah.
Right now, today.
Yeah.
And this is the question on page 2.
Yeah.
Who runs your life?
Yes. Yep.
You?
Yeah.
Or Jesus?
Right.
And I have found that question really blows smoke away because if they go Jesus, like, okay, so you're on saving faith, and then we go there. Yep. Or if they say, actually, I am. Yeah. Okay, now we know what we're dealing with.
Yes.
Now, so where would you put yourself?
Yep.
So it's great for churched people who think they're Christians.
Yeah.
And maybe aren't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes it's tough because I think in the American context, the conflation and confusion of cultural Christianity with biblical saving faith is extremely difficult to explain to somebody.
Yeah.
They do not see the difference.
No.
It's like, well, I believe that the Bible's true in theory. I don't read it, or I do read it, but it's like data, and I'm still just trying to be good or whatever it is. Yeah. And they think almost like they're saved by association, not transformation.
Totally.
It's like they have an experience of transformation that's supernatural, that's apart and beyond what they can do. Yep. But it's like kind of it's like a hamster wheel theology. Yeah. I just run fast enough, I'll get there. But you never get anywhere because you're actually on a hamster wheel that goes nowhere. Totally. So it's a good way to have the conversation, but without, hopefully driving people away because it respects where they're actually at.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So. I have a student who... Oh, love the kid. Oh, he's awesome. His sister just got baptized, and I was like, have you been baptized? He's like, yeah, when I was like 8 or 9, but I think I want to do it again because at the time I just did it because not because everyone, kind of, but it was just like a thing to do, right? And now I've seen him grow, and he knows he's grown in his journey. Yeah. He's like, okay, I've been challenged, and I know that now is different than when I got baptized before. And now he's starting to think about, like, I think I kind of want to get baptized again.
A real public declaration where he owns it.
Exactly.
He's going, okay, I know what I'm doing. I'm taking responsibility.
Exactly.
I want to follow Jesus, and I want everyone to know.
Exactly. Yeah. And he's a kid who was church, so it's like, this works for, like, I in my context, it's really helpful, and for both.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us about the future. What are you praying about? What are you excited about? What are you wondering if God's doing? Or maybe you already have an idea. I don't know, but I'm just curious. What do you think God has down the pike for you and your wife? And
I don't know. We just bought a house, which is awesome.
Oh, congrats.
So
that's great.
We're building in Bennington. So it'll be done in, Lord willing, October, hopefully. Praying sooner.
Okay.
So we'll be officially part of Bennington School District, which is awesome.
There you go.
So being the mayor would be fun, I think. That'd be fun. That's a goal, like a real goal of mine.
I coached baseball with the former mayor, so if you need some tips.
Which one is that?
Zach
is that Zach? Yeah, I know Zach.
So do you know Zach?
Yes.
Maybe he could give you some pointers.
When we first were at the barn, you guys know Lisa's barn and Mike's barn over in Bennington.
Yeah, the Blisses.
Yep. So our high school ministry, my first 2 years was there.
Okay.
And I would cater Runza from Bennington down up the road. And I would see Zach all the time. I had no idea he was the mayor until he was like rerunning for office. I was like, so I texted him, I'm like, dude, are you the mayor? And he's like, yeah.
I'm going to share this podcast with him. He'll think that is so funny.
I was like, what? Like, you're just like a normal guy just who runs the Runza, and it's awesome. Like, I had no idea, And so, that's definitely that's kind of a long-term thing. I think it'd be really cool. I think God's definitely shown me kind of my skill sets and decision-making and overseeing and stuff like that. That's definitely, but in terms of I guess the immediate future, I don't know. I'm really open-handed. I am excited. I got finally approved to take master's classes and take my go through my seminary, which is great. Yeah.
Excellent. I don't know. I don't know if I'd recommend seminary.
Yeah. So one step at a time. Yeah.
No, do it.
One step at a time. So I'll be taking classes in the fall, which I'm really excited for.
Awesome.
And then in terms of the coaching aspect, this is something that Glenn and I have always been kind of talking about over the last couple of years of just what does that look like? What's your goal for that? What's your plan? I'm like, I don't know. If if God were to open a door in a full-time role that pays well, that I'd love to, because I love working with athletes and like, kind of like that Coach Brown, the Ron Brown, kind of, being that really mentor coach type deal.
Yeah.
I think it'd be great to do that for Creighton basketball. I love Creighton basketball. That'd be really fun. There you go. Obviously, so that's always just like, okay, I'm being realistic too, because we're in Omaha. There's not a ton of full-time college positions open. There could be, I don't know, but relatively speaking, right?
Yeah.
So my goal is just to keep being a youth pastor for, wherever God takes me. And,
for sure.
And I know me and Glenn have talked about doing like being a family pastor, if our church gets to a size that's like, okay, that makes sense. We have someone who is running youth ministry and kids, and then I can kind of oversee all of that. That's also a thing too. So I'm very open-handed to wherever.
You're prayerful. You're curious.
Yeah. The Lord, I had a conversation with the Lord a couple of weeks ago, and he just reminded me, like, just take whatever, like step through the door that's ahead. And I was like, okay. Because I can be looking through all these different options and doors, but like whatever door's open, like just walk through in faith. And I was like, okay, Lord, that was an affirmation. And I was like, that I needed. Yeah. Like, I still don't know what that looks like, but but it was definitely an affirmation from Him. Totally fine.
Sure.
And so, there's those things. We're doing our first mission trip next week for our church and our students.
And where are you going again?
New Orleans.
New Orleans. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Never been down that part of the country. Good. Been to Florida and Texas, but not in between.
Nolans.
Yeah. So it'll be fun. Be praying for that. We'll be on Monday to Friday next week. So,
you're going to get some authentic New Orleans food?
I don't know. We're the organization. We're cooking at the church, so we'll have some. We have some stuff in the works by the coordinator down there. But there's a half day, our last day, where we can kind of go explore. So I might try a beignet.
What do they do down there? Crawfish, jambalaya.
Jambalaya. You're po' boys.
Do you like spicy?
I like spicy. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Yep. So
you got to at least try. You got to try to get something.
I know. I'll try to get something. I was thinking of beignet. I think a beignet would be good because I think we have the afternoon and we have dinner that night. So I'm like, I don't know if I should double down on dinner or like, heavier food. But sure, we'll see. We'll see. Right. Sure. But it'll be fun. Great. So those are kind of the things that come to mind, guys. I think I'm just being affirmed to just like continue to almost like keep doing what I'm doing or where God's called me, right?
For sure.
Like,
right.
And to kind of put a bow on it, a buddy of mine who actually was a leader of mine when I first started, he went to Bennington High School. And then I talked to him recently last year, and he said, God's doing something different in the area. Mm-hmm. He feels it. Like, and he hasn't served with me in a couple of years now, but he's like, it's definitely different than it was when I was in high school 5, 6, 7 years ago. I don't remember when, but he definitely feels like just like God's hand and favor is in the area. Yeah. And it's really cool. And it's very affirming. And a good reminder of like, the works, like it's never done, but it is affirming of like, we're called to plant seeds. We're not called to really like reap the benefits of it. But it is encouraging when you get like kind of like you said earlier, a little peek into the back of what God's doing.
Yeah,
like just being
those essential encouragements.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
just being faithful to the process of just planting seeds and sharing and being a light. So
I mean, it sounds kind of like that's been a theme as you've been sharing your story. Is like. There was never these big flashing light moments per se, but you were open and you were willing and you kept moving forward and God just kept opening doors. And now you're, I mean, if somebody would have told you as a freshman in college that you'd be doing what you're doing now.
Yeah.
You probably would have looked at him like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about?
Which is so ironic because even then I was like, I didn't know what I was going to do. So like you could have told me anything in a way, Well, which is funny, but just walk in faith and the steps that are ahead of me. So,
Well, my dad always used to say, if your heart's right and you're willing to obey, you can't miss God's will.
Yeah. That's good.
You can't. It's too important.
Yeah.
That's encouraging.
It's so important to him that he won't let you miss it.
Yeah.
Even if you try to pull a Jonah.
Yeah.
He'll have some fish out there to get you back on track.
Yeah, totally.
But your heart's right. You want to obey. You really can't miss his will.
Yeah. That's good.
Keep your heart right,
which
and you're good to go.
It's a comforting reminder.
It really
I think
is.
Sometimes you hear that a lot. How do you know God's will? How do you know?
Yeah.
It's like, well, 90% of it's revealed in the Bible. Okay.
Yeah.
First of all,
that's right.
Yeah.
Are you reading it? Are you thinking
you?
of how it applies?
Yeah.
Most of the time, but that other margin where you are doing everything you know to do, and yet there's something percolating. There's something there you don't know quite what.
Yeah.
That's been my experience as well. He is faithful to show you in some way, shape, or form. Rarely when you want.
Yeah.
Rarely how you want.
Yeah. Totally.
Well, right. I mean, as the ship of your life is moving through the ocean, as you're obeying and your heart's good, then the rudder comes into play.
Yeah.
You can the rudder only matters on a moving ship.
Yeah.
So as you're saying yes and obeying step by step, then the rudder can come in and guide you.
That's really good.
Yeah.
That's good. I like that. I'm going to steal that, Lincoln. Sure. That's good. Because I've heard the sail, that one.
Get your
but
sail
the
up.
rudder is good. Yeah.
Yeah.
The rudder is good too. Yeah.
Well, Vaughn, thank you so much for joining us. It's been fun. I look forward to partnering with you this coming year. And so we'll see you up at school and off and on, I'm sure.
For sure. Yeah. Thanks for having me. Yeah. It's been fun. Great.
Yeah. We'll put the connections to your podcast in the liner notes and everything. Yeah. So if you're listening and you want to check that out, it'll be there for you.
Yeah, totally.
But anything you want to say before we sign off?
I guess the last thing, I love doing stuff, but I always for some reason, God always brings up the Martha and Mary whenever I'm in a season of rush, And so just I'm learning the thing just to end our time, just to learning to be more like Mary and just sit still and sit at the feet of Jesus before doing anything. And
it's hard, isn't it?
It is. It's really hard.
For doers, it's really hard.
It's really hard it is. It really is. So I'm learning to listen.
Guilty.
Yep.
That's good.
Yeah. Just listen more. Yeah. Slow down too.
Yeah.
So
that's a good reminder.
That is good. That's good. I told somebody the other day, I said, I don't think God has ever said, hey, Link, would you get up here? And so I was like, hey, Link, get back here. Where are you going?
Yeah.
I'm always running down the next mountain, whatever.
Yeah.
It's hey.
Yeah.
So be a little more like Mary.
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah, especially in the context of our culture. And
right.
And I see it firsthand with students and knowing their parents and knowing parents buying into the culture of go, So I'm trying to fight that.
Crazy.
So
for sure.
So just encourage all of us, just sit still and know that He's God, right? And so,
that's good.
Yeah. So,
good word.
All right, man.
Good to end on that
Thanks.
one.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Well, thanks. Maybe we'll be on your podcast.
Next
time.
There you go. Love to have you guys.
All right. Thanks, Vaughn.
Yep.
That's all for this episode of Ministry Minded. Thanks for listening. We hope you were encouraged and inspired to keep serving Jesus biblically as you follow Him on your journey. If you appreciate this podcast, please subscribe, share it with your circle, and leave us a positive review. If you'd like to help us keep creating new episodes, you can do so with a tax-exempt donation online at stepup2life.com/give.